we have been studying Ezekiel, and as I shared with you last night, we're in a section of Ezekiel, chapter 40, and actually it goes through to chapter 44 and chapter 45. We're in a section of Ezekiel where the prophet is being given a pattern of a city and temple. And honestly, I was wondering how I was going to present this to you. I wasn't worried because, and the reason I wasn't worried, those of you that understand this ministry and know what we're doing, the Spirit of the Father brings to my heart and mind the things that should be taught and how they should be taught and the order in they should be taught. There have been many times when people have asked me, can you give me a copy of the last study? Can you give me the notes you took? Can you give me the notes you took for the last study or the last sermon? And I always respond, I have no notes. I don't pre-write down anything. I am not saying that people that do write down stuff, something is wrong with that. But I am saying is that I just open the Bible and the Father expresses to me by His Spirit what I should teach and how and where I should go. It's not pre-planned. Sometimes He gives me scriptures in advance that I must repeat, that He shows me. But most of it is just stuff that He's given me off the cuff. So as I was looking and I had studied and I've read through this Bible, as I said, I lost count after 15 or 16 times. I've lost count of how many times I've read it cover to cover. I was very much aware of Ezekiel 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. Very much aware. And I was concerned a little bit because I was like, how am I going to read this? People are going to just be reading about cubits and measurements, and it could get pretty boring, honestly, to people that want to read that. But I want to tell you, when I opened the Bible last night, the Father gave me some things, and I shared on the last study, so some of you might have already seen last night. And some of it got cut off, and that's all good. We know what's up. But it's much more powerful and deeper than I ever knew or realized. And I praise the Most High that He has blessed us to share in His Word. And this is all, as we talked last night, this is all in preparation for what's getting ready to happen. This is all in helping us be prepared to stand in the presence of the Father. Let's look, this morning, I looked up a couple of verses that I wanted to share with you yesterday and couldn't find them, if you recall. But I guess there's a reason for that, because as I looked at them this morning, I saw them in a new way. Let's look at gospel. Both of these scriptures that I'm getting ready to share with you are in the Gospel of Matthew. Matthew, and let's start at Matthew chapter 10. Matthew chapter 10. I alluded to these verses yesterday, and I want to start off with them today before we get into Ezekiel directly. Matthew chapter 10. I'm going to begin at verse 1. And I'm going to go down, but the first section here, I'm going to start from verse 1 to verse 6, and then we'll read a little more after that. But Matthew chapter 10 from verse 1 to verse 6. Thank you, Isha. Notice what it says here. And when He had called unto Him His 12 disciples, He gave them power against unclean spirits, to cast them out, and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. Now the names of the 12 apostles are these. The first, Shimon, who is called Kepha, or Peter, and Andrew his brother, Jacob the son of Zebedee, and Yochanan his brother, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthias the publican, Yochanan the son of Alphaeus, and Lebbaeus, whose surname was Thaddeus, Shimon the Canaanite, and Jehoiada or Judas Iscariot, who also betrayed Him. These 12 Yahushua sent forth, and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Here is Messiah. He is now beginning his 3.5-year ministry. And at the beginning of his 3.5-year ministry, he chooses 12 special disciples who will later become apostles. The word disciples, we know, is the most common term that is used in the New Testament to describe the followers of the Messiah and the followers of the Father. So these 12 he chose, especially because they were going to become later apostles, who are only 12 who are sent, whose names would eventually be written in the foundations of the New Jerusalem. He sends them forth. And he sends them first to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He tells them specifically, do not go to the Gentiles. Don't go to the Samaritans. Go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel with the message that I'm sending you with. And he gave them power. He gave them power over unclean spirits to cast them out and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of dis-ease. I want to say this to you. As the 144,000 are being now prepared to be sent forth in the same way. First, to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That we are also being equipped with the Father's Spirit. And make no mistake, it is the Spirit of the Father that actuates Messiah. Everything Messiah does, everything the Messiah says is by the Father's Spirit. And Messiah himself said that. He said, I do nothing but what I see my Father do. I am not come but to do my Father's will. That's what he said. And so in turn he sends us. He said, so send I you. And brothers and sisters, oxen and cots, family, he wants to heal his people first. He's going to heal Gentiles and Samaritans also. But he wants to heal his people first. Even now. Why? Well, it's pretty obvious now. We can see now that the most diseased, the most afflicted, the most oppressed people on planet Earth are the so-called Negroes. They are the only people on planet Earth that have no nation, no country where they're from. Oh, they were taken from West Africa, but that's not their original place. Even in history books today, when they teach little children in elementary school about Negroes, the first thing you see is them as slaves, as if they have no history. Irish people have a history. They have a land called Ireland. German people have a land they come from called Germany or Deutschland. Russians come from Russia. Even Hamites. What country you come from? Uganda. What country you come from? Ethiopia. What country you come from? South Africa. But the Negro has no country because he's been scattered all over the earth. He's been strung up from trees. He's been poisoned with drugs. He's been tossed in jail and stacked up in there. Whenever everybody else gets a blessing, he gets it last. If the government does something to help the middle class, his class is last in line. Why is that? It's because he has been chosen. I know that sounds strange, but he has been chosen by the Father because his seed is of the original chosen people. And they did the most egregious thing. They worshiped other gods aside from their creator. And they did it for centuries. Therefore, the Most High, as he has promised in his word, is punishing them and has punished them until he says the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And as we read already in Deuteronomy chapter 30, as we are seeing the awakening take place right now, as people are now awakening as to who we are, even myself, the words that I'm speaking to you right now are a part of the awakening. Understanding we have no country. There's no place we're from. Why? Because we're from Israel. That's our original land. Because we're Shemites of the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and before that, Eber, the Hebrew. We have no place. We're pilgrims on this earth. That understanding is part of the awakening, which is now taking place. And he told his disciples then, go first to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Let's continue. Matthew chapter 10 from verse 7. We're going to read from verse 7 down to verse 18. Matthew 10, 7 to 18. Notice what it says. And as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely ye have received, freely give. Wait a minute. Let's repeat that. Heal the sick among the Hebrews. Cleanse the lepers among the Hebrews. Raise the dead from the Hebrews. Cast out devils. Freely ye have received, freely give. That means you're not being paid to do this. You're not being paid to do this. You're not begging anybody for money to do this. You're not. Freely ye have received from Messiah, freely give. Provide neither gold nor silver nor brass in your purses, nor scrip for your journey, neither two coats, neither shoes, nor yet staves, for the workman is worthy of his meat. And in whatsoever city or town ye shall enter, inquire who in it is worthy, and there abide till ye go thence. And when ye come into a house, salute it. And if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it be not worthy, let your peace return to you. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, when ye depart out of that house or city, shake off the dust of your feet. Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable in the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in that day of judgment than for that city. Talking about Hebrews now. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to councils. They will scourge you in their synagogues. And ye shall, now he's talking about more than Hebrews now. How do I know? Watch verse 18. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. The 144,000 are likened unto the 12 apostles. They're right now beginning to awaken and give a message to the lost sheep of the house of Israel to wake up, to understand who we are. The world is not going to understand. That's why he said don't go to the Gentiles or the Samaritans. It means more now than it even did then. They won't even understand. Why? If you tell the Gentiles, by and large, there's Gentiles that's receiving this truth. We obviously see that. But I think we can all agree the majority of Gentiles think we're crazy. Testing 1, 2, 3. Am I correct? The majority of the Gentiles think we are crazy. And they have their Christianity with their white Jesus. And they have their Allah and their Mecca, the stone in the middle of the desert. And they have their Judaism in the right of return to a land that doesn't belong to them, the Zionists. So they think we are crazy. But this doesn't matter. The Messiah didn't say, get an opinion from the Gentiles, get an opinion from the Samaritans about what we're doing. He didn't say that. He said, go to the lost sheep and start to use my spirit to bring power and healing to my people first. Okay? What about the Gentiles? Does he love them at all? Does he care about them at all? Let's look. there are conditions. Just like there are conditions upon which we as Israelites can come back. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then and only then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. There's conditions. See, this unconditional love that people talk about, I have to tell you the truth. That's not true. There's conditions. You ever been hurt by somebody? You ever been deceived by somebody? You ever been betrayed by somebody that you trusted? Well, let me ask you. If they come to you and they say, trust me again, are you going to just trust them again? Because white Jesus say, just forgive them? No. They have to first apologize for what they done. And second, they got to show you fruits that they're not going to hurt you a second time. And then even his heart. Well, much less the Father of all, the Creator. We have betrayed him. Our fathers have betrayed him. There's conditions. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray, and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. That's repentance. Then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. There's conditions. Now wait. Matthew chapter 15 now. What about the Gentiles? Matthew chapter 15. Here's a lesson for the Gentiles and for the children of Israel. Matthew chapter 15. I was looking for this last night. I looked that up this morning and now I know why I couldn't find it last night. It was for me to give it to y'all now as we're getting into today's lesson. Notice Matthew 15. I'm going to begin at verse 21 and I'm going to go down to verse 28. Matthew 15, 21 to 28. Watch this carefully, brothers and sisters. Then Yahushua went thence and departed into the coast of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, have mercy on me, O Yahweh, or Master Adoni, thou son of David. Notice how she addresses him. Have mercy on me, O Adoni, or Master, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with a devil. But he answered her not a word. And the disciples came and besought him, saying, send her away, for she crieth after us. But he answered and said, just talking to the woman, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So wait, she addresses him as the son of David, as master, begging him, and he act like he ain't here at all. I ain't hear this. I ain't hear what she's saying. And the disciples send this Gentile away. We don't want to hear nothing from these Gentiles. Send these Gentiles away. Tired of these Gentiles. They'll overrun our city. They already destroyed, brought us into slavery. Send these Gentiles away. But he answered not a word. Then he tells her the truth. You think he was joking? He said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So when he say, Yah so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Who he talking about? He talking about his lost sheep that are scattered throughout the earth. I pray not for the world. I pray for them that you have given me out of the world, for they belong to me. See? I came not but for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Let's get this straight. You see, Christianity lied to us. Brought us white Jesus and no power at all. The one time they even think they had some power in San Francisco in the early part of the 20th century, that's how you got the Pentecostal church. They felt some spirit power and they memorialized it and made a white Jesus church out of it. That's what Gentiles do when they're not guided by the Hebrews and the Hebrew Messiah. That's what they do. Again, notice what happened. Verse 25. Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Master, help me. But he answered and said, watch this now, watch. It is not meet or proper to take the children's bread and cast it to dogs. What? Did she come out there to walk her Labrador? Did she come out there walking her poodle? Was he talking to the dog she was walking? Or was he talking to her? He said, it is not proper, it's not meet for me to take the children's bread. That is the word that's given to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. It is not proper for me to take that and cast it to you Gentile dogs. Now this is after she said, Master, Son of David. Okay? She didn't say white Jesus, Christian Jesus. Master, Son of David, have mercy on me. Wait. So when he said to her, I am not sent but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, it is not proper for me to take the word that has been given to the chosen people and give it to the dogs. And the disciples like, send this Gentile woman out here. You don't want nothing to do with her. Then what did she say? Look, verse 27. And she said, truth, master. Truth, master. Yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from their master's table. Let's look at this very carefully. She's acknowledging she's a Gentile dog. She's acknowledging he came only for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. She's acknowledging he's a Hebrew Messiah from the seed of David. She's acknowledging her condition. Y'all see that? She's acknowledging who she is, who he is, and who his chosen people are. She's acknowledging it, and she's a Gentile. So what happened then? Verse 28. Then Yahushua answered and said unto her, O woman, great is thy faith. Be it unto thee even as thou wilt. And her daughter was made whole from that very hour. There's conditions. Wait a minute. I want to say that again. There's conditions. Gentiles want to be saved? You better meet some conditions. You want to know what conditions you need to meet? Read this story right here. Read this story right here. This is the conditions y'all need to meet. And look, listen. If y'all meet it or not, that's your business. I'm just giving the Spirit of the Father to teach it, to preach it, to bring it. You do with it as you will. This is one of the few times you're going to see me casting pearls to swine, those that want to reject it. That's your business. Okay? But she said, truth, master. Truth. I am a dog. Truth. I come from the Gentile. Truth. You're supposed to go to the children of Israel. Truth. You are the son of David, the Messiah of the seed of Israel. Truth. Your word is given to your chosen people. Truth. But have mercy on me. And he did. There's conditions. You want to come to the truth? Come on. There's conditions. I'm not talking about this unconditional love. All of us worship God, just worship him in different ways. No. No. So now we understand. No, I say that really. Now we understand. Because now it's the awakening. And we understand this more fully than we ever did before. More completely than ever, these words are different now than when I was a Christian. I think y'all can agree. When we were Christians, we didn't look at these words like this. It's different now. Now, we were studying Ezekiel. And let's just review a couple things we looked at last night. Couple things. First, going into Exodus chapter 25, as we did last night. Remembering what we were talking about last night, if you recall. And last night, we saw it 3 times. And we're going to third times with Ezekiel. We saw it 3 times where the Father wants to dwell among his people. He has chosen one people and he wants to dwell among them. The lost sheep of the house of the man that used to be called Jacob, but who Messiah changed his name to Israel, who is the son of the friend of the Most High Yah, Abraham, who was, or should I say, the grandson, and he is the son of the promised seed, Yasha'ak, or Isaac. Okay? And he said he has chosen this children above all the families of the earth. This has not changed. And brothers and sisters, that's part of the reason we suffer as Israelites, as Hebrews, who are called so-called Negroes. That's why we suffer, brothers and sisters. I know it's hard. It's because we hurt he doesn't forget the covenant he made with us. He's not forgetting that. I don't care how many thousands of years ago it was. His word is forever, brothers and sisters. It's not like, I'm just going to forget about it because y'all messed up. No! He's holding us to it. That's why we're getting smacked even now. That's why we read just now and he said, go to the lost sheep. And he said, it's going to be more tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah than it is for the lost sheep of the house of Israel that reject the truth. That's what he said. It's going to be more tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah than for the lost sheep of the house of Israel that reject this truth. He has not forgotten who we are, who he made us to be, and his relation between us and him. And he is calling us back now. That's why the Messiah said, and he had the Apostle Paul write, till the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And he, as we pointed out here in Exodus, notice again, Exodus chapter 25. Exodus chapter 25 from verses 1 to 8. Exodus 25, 1 to 8. Notice what it says. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring me an offering of every man that giveth it willingly of his heart. Ye shall take my offering. And this is the offering which ye shall take of them, gold and silver and brass, and blue and purple and scarlet, and fine linen, and goat's hair, and ram's skins, dyed red, and badger's skins, and shittim wood, oil for the light, spices for anointing oil, and for sweet incense, onyx stones, and stones to be set in the ephod, and in the breastplate. And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them. Let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them. Sin separated us from our Father in more ways than one. And it is that is the Father's studied goal and aim to dwell among us again. To dwell not only among us as fellowship with us, but to have his Spirit live permanently within us. Brothers and sisters, let me just say that again so that we can catch the import of those words. The Father's aim and purpose for us is to permanently have his Spirit live within us. To permanently live within us by his Spirit. Again, we turn to 1 Kings. 1 Kings, which we did last night. 1 Kings chapter 6. 1 Kings chapter 6. And again, let's read from verse 11. From verse 11 down to verse 14. We're just doing a synopsis of what we studied last night. 1 Kings chapter 6 from verse 11 to verse 14. Notice what it says. 1 Kings 6. Isha went to the ladies' room. So 1 Kings 6 verses 11 to 14. And the word of Yahweh came to Solomon, saying, concerning this house which thou art in building, If thou wilt walk in my statutes, and execute my judgments, and keep all my commandments to walk in them, then will I perform my word with thee, which I spake unto David thy father. And I will dwell among the children of Israel, and will not forsake my people Israel. So Solomon built the house and finished it. Okay? Again, as with Moses, so is Solomon. I want to dwell among my people Israel. In between those two times were many centuries, at least 4, of sin. And he come back again. I want to dwell among my people Israel. Again, he warned Solomon. 2 Chronicles chapter 7. 2 Chronicles chapter 7. 2 Chronicles chapter 7. Wait. Solomon had a prayer, which Solomon's prayer was, the Most High referenced Solomon's prayer as he answered him. Okay. But I don't want to read all of Solomon's prayer, but I want to read part of it. Okay, I want to read part of it. This is very much associated with what we're studying today in Ezekiel, and of course with our present situation. Okay, talking about us and our fathers. 2 Chronicles chapter 6, from verse 36 to verse 42. 2 Chronicles chapter 6, from verse 36 to verse 42. Notice what it says. Talking about us. If they sin against thee, for there is no man which sinneth not, and thou be angry with them, and deliver them over before their enemies, and they carry them away captives unto a land far off or near. Yet if they bethink themselves in the land whither they are carried captive, and turn and pray unto thee in the land of their captivity, saying, we have sinned, we have done amiss, and have dealt wickedly. If they return to thee with all their heart and with all their soul in the land of their captivity, whither they have carried them captives, and pray toward their land, which thou gavest unto their fathers, and toward the city which thou hast chosen, and toward the house which I have built for thy name, then hear thou from the heavens, even from thy dwelling place, their prayer and their supplications, and maintain their cause, and forgive thy people which have sinned against thee. Now,